going to be a really quick tutorial on how I make a double stitch, and then I'm also going to add a little extra information that kind of pertains more exclusively to the Shadowsinger shell. So if you're making that pattern right now, I hope this helps you. So I have this little tiny swatch that's in the round, and first I just want to show you how I like to do a double stitch on the right side and the wrong side. So I'm just going to knit a couple of rounds. It doesn't really matter, and we're going to pretend that my pattern says, okay, you're ready to make a double stitch. So I'm at my place where I need to make my double stitch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my work, and then I am going to slip that stitch that I just knit onto my right hand needle, and I'm going to pull it real tight. And you see how it's making these like little double legs? That's going to make your double stitch. So I'm going to pull that real tight, good bit of tension, and bring the string around to the front and continue to purl. And that is a double stitch on the right side. Now let's get into doing it, well, I guess you're making it on the wrong side really, but I think of it as the right side. Anyway, we're gonna do it now on the other side. So just gonna knit a few stitches, and I'm gonna say here, I guess, is a good place to start. So I'm gonna turn my work again. Now the right side is facing me. I'm gonna bring my yarn to the front. Then I'm going to slip it over, like yarn to the front. That stitch that I just purled across, I'm gonna slip it back, and I'm gonna pull my stitch real tight again. And you can see it makes that double leg again when I pull it really tight, but we don't need to bring the yarn to the front because we're knitting. So just making sure I'm pulling it really tight, and then I'm going to continue to knit as so. So yeah, that is how you double stitch, or at least that's how I like to double stitch, and that's how I went about it for the Shadowsinger shell. Stay tuned, I'm going to add some more specific information for that pattern, okay? Alright, see you guys soon. Okay, I am back. So I wanted to talk about when we're working the short rows back and forth, how to count properly and how to properly space these double stitches, because sometimes it can get confusing when you're reading those directions. So, for example, if a pattern says, you know, knit till X amount of stitches before double stitch, what I mean in my pattern specifically when I say that, so if we're looking at our knitting, here's my double stitch. There's the, almost looks like a little purl bump to a knit stitch, but that was the double stitch I created. And let's say I was like, you know, knit to 4 stitches before double stitch. I don't include that double stitch in the 4. So what I mean is there's a double stitch, and then there is 1, 2, 3, 4 unworked stitches. So I've knit along my round, and it says, you know, knit to 4 stitches before double stitch, or however many stitches the pattern calls for. I then am going to turn my work to make that next double stitch. I want to leave those stitches before this DS unworked. So I would turn, slip my needle, and then pull it tight to make that double stitch, and continue in the pattern instructions. So that's just a little extra info as far as what I mean by that, because I know it can get a little bit confusing. So I hope that helps you. The only thing additionally that I'm just going to tack on the end of this is how to knit together your double stitches once they're complete, because I know that can kind of throw people off too. So I'm just going to work this DS on this side and show you that real quick. So getting that nice little double right there. bringing it around to knit, and now we're on the right side. I'll be able to show you how to knit those 2 bars together. And it's really simple. And I enjoy this way of doing short rows. Okay, so we're at a point where we have that double stitch. I just like to knit them through the front loop and make sure I've got a good bit of tension. I always feel like my purl side gets a little bit holier, if that makes sense, than my knit side or my right side. So here's another little double stitch guy right there. And we're just gonna knit that together. So that's really it when it comes to the short row situation, I guess. I hope this helps you guys. I know when I first started knitting, it was kind of like, you wanted me to do what? So I know it helps to get a visual on that. And I'll be coming up onto my purl here soon. Yeah, I can see one now. So let me just show you what I mean by sometimes they're a little bit holier. So here's my little double stitch guy right there, and I am going to just knit them 2 strands together. That one actually doesn't look too bad. Typical. Anyway, so here's another double. I'm just gonna knit those 2 together. This one kind of shows it a little bit better. You see that guy? That can look a little bit loose. But you can either get some scrap yarn and just whip that together after blocking, or you can kind of pick up a strand below when you knit around, however you like to fix those kind of things. So yeah, you can see on my little swatch, I got some thicker material, like more depth on it versus this side. Ooh, losing markers. So yeah, that's how back shaping works. Less depth, more depth. Alrighty. And if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate. Happy knitting!